So we've got our first devlog from Marauders, which is going to show us what new content's come in, what fixes are coming, and just other plans they've got. We're going to go through it today and give you my opinion on it. And if you like this video and you want more Marauders content, give this video a like and subscribe for more. So first up, we've got the Webley revolver, and this gun is being chambered for 0.32 ACP. It's a sidearm, it's a revolver. I kind of expect this revolver to be probably the strongest sidearm in the game in terms of, like, we'll say the pistols instead of the sawn-off shotgun, because up close that would be better than all the other sidearms. But revolvers generally in games are the strongest sidearms, so I think this would be a good one. I can see people trying to do like cowboy runs or something with this. I can see myself doing that. Could be pretty interesting to use. I've got another weapon coming, the EM2 battle rifle, and the EM2 was a rifle that the British Army used in, I think it was adopted in 1951. It was originally the .280 caliber, but because of NATO, I think, and the rounds that NATO originally wanted to use, this weapon was pretty much just pushed to one side, and the British Army adopted an FN FAL variant instead. But this is coming to the game. It's going to be slightly different than the original, because I think the original by standard has like an optical sight built into it, but in game it is going to be an iron sight only. But there will be probably an attachment for it. We'll get into different attachments in a bit. But the weapon will be a vault weapon and equipped by SAS operatives. So on the naval shipyard, you're going to find this weapon probably quite a bit. Or it's probably going to be like a rare weapon for the SAS operatives. But I can see a lot of people using this weapon going forward when it releases into the game. While the 5.56 ammo, which the in-game variant is going to be chambered for, is quite rare. It's quite easy to craft. It's got low crafting requirements. I think it's just like a metal shard and gunpowder, or high-grade gunpowder. So it's pretty easy to just suddenly craft a large amount. And I have seen that 5.56 ammo as like a rare trader item as well. So if you see a trader selling 5.56 and you've got a ton of cash, I would recommend to buy a lot of it. And there's some updates to the attachment system as well. And we're getting a look at the Sten Rework. This isn't a new Sten. This is what the Sten is going to be changed into. So currently the Sten in-game only has one attachment slot and one attachment for it, which is a silencer. But going forward, the new Sten is going to have a drum magazine, a stock, a muzzle brake, and a suppressor. And going forward, they want each weapon in the game to have 4 or 5 different attachments. That's not attachment slots, but different attachments. And that's what they're doing with the Sten, right? You've got, like I said, the stock, the suppressor, the muzzle brake, and the drum magazine. That's 4 attachments for it. And I like this. It's more variation to the game, especially when you get different types of attachments for one slot, such as the muzzle brake and the suppressor. So I'm guessing the muzzle brake will handle the recoil better than the suppressor, while the suppressor gives you the advantage of, suppressor. And this could mean that different weapons that have quite a high recoil, like the Bren or the DP28, could be probably a little bit more usable if you can get some attachments for it that reduce the recoil. So I'm looking forward to this. It adds more content to the game. You're going to be able to get some juicy weapons off people that you kill, so it's all good. And we're getting optical sights into the game. These may not come into the first update, but what they want to do is add optical sights to the single shot rifles. That's the SVT and the Johnson, 2 weapons that I believe really are potentially the strongest weapons in the game, because they can, or I believe they can, one-shot kill anyone to the head apart from a level 10 helmet. So if you're really good at just being a head clicker like myself, then these weapons should be quite high on your list of picks, because if you can just easily one-tap people to the head, and especially when they add in these sights, these weapons are going to be really strong, especially on the maps that have like the larger open areas, like the Terraformer, I would say. We're also getting some fixes to the game, right? So one of the fixes that are coming in is a bunch of, well, crash fixes. And there's a variety of crashes that are generally getting resolved, or should be largely resolved in the new update. And these crashes are when you launch the game or when you join a match. And they've said that the majority of these crashing instances should be fixed. So there could be some rare ones which I expect to be fixed going forward. And also they're investigating an issue which I've come across a couple of times when squadding up with people from the stream, which, you know, I stream on this channel, and I will group up with just random people from chat. So if you're interested in that, hit the subscribe button. And the issue is, when you load into a raid in a group, sometimes one player may not get into their raid, so you just have to quit. It's happened maybe 1 or 2 times. It's very rare, but this is something that should be fixed. We're also getting some map changes. Now this ties back to the airlock busy error that probably most people have seen, and the airlock busy error is pretty much when someone is using the same airlock as yourself, which shouldn't happen. And you know, from a physical perspective, it can't happen. You can't have 2 ships like locked into the same airlock. So what they're doing is changing the maps to add in more airlocks, so you shouldn't get this issue anymore. I don't know specifically how the maps are being changed, but this should get rid of that airlock busy issue. And alongside these changes for the airlocks, or adding in more airlocks to the maps, they are adjusting some maps to stop airlock camping or airlock rushing, which is where you say you dock somewhere in an airlock and then you rush to an adjacent airlock. This is mainly an issue in the terraformer maintenance dome or the asteroid mine air processor. That's the tunnel area in the asteroid mine, because those airlocks are quite close to each other. If you do get into that station just a little bit quicker than other people, you can rush to the airlock and just wait. They're saying that it's going to be a little bit harder to do this going forward because of the changes they're making. Maybe they're just spacing them apart, or maybe add an extra cover, I'm not sure. But they have said it still will be possible, just a little bit harder. And I think it's a positive change, you know. I don't think anyone really wants to be airlock camped. They just want to get into the raid and have a fight in the raid or in the actual area. And one big change that's come in, and I'm so glad this change is coming, and it's to do with the capital ships and the merchant ships. And if you're like me, you've probably barely seen these ships. I've played the game for about 40 hours so far. I've seen the capital ship 3 times. And the first time I saw it, another player got in before me, and we managed to breach through the same spot, and he had walked backwards. So when I breached through, I was standing in front of him and he just shot me in the back. The second time, I was just going into a raid on 2 accounts, because I have 2 accounts where I like to take screenshots with, or like thumbnail images. And I saw the capital ship there, and I obviously wasn't going to raid it while trying to control 2 PCs at the same time. And the third time, I just got killed by the other player that had breached into it. But thankfully, the spawn rates for the merchant ship and the capital ship are being increased. While their spawn rates are really low at the moment, there wouldn't really be too much of an issue, apart from their tying contracts and progression to these ships, which is the issue. For the merchant ship, you have the kill 20 security mission. Straight after that, you need to go back to the merchant ship to find a marked crate. And because the merchant ships are so rare, it's kind of a difficult mission to do. But thankfully, while increasing the spawn rate, this should help to just get rid of these issues. But also, they're adjusting some of the daily contracts and making some of the harder ones easier. Now, I wouldn't really say the ones I've done so far are hard, so maybe they're just reducing some of the requirements. Like maybe the kill 20 security mission is going to be reduced to like 10 or 15 security, and they're adding in extra daily contracts for the naval shipyard and the penal colony, so you can get a little bit more progression done in those 2 areas, which is a good thing. And they're adjusting map cycling, so you've probably had an instance where you've gone into a raid, let's say the space station, extracted, gone into another one, it's the space station, and then gone into another one after that, and it's the space station. So the instances like that happening should be reduced, or maybe shouldn't happen at all going forward. Then we have some quality of life fixes, and thankfully toggle lean is coming into the game. When I played the technical tests, a bunch of people, including myself, reported that we just want toggle lean into the game. We don't want to have to hold down the lean button, so that's coming into the update. An FOV slider is coming as well, which is great news for people that want to mess around with the FOV. And let's go on to some anti-cheat updates. So far from when this dev blog was posted, which was the 27th, I think, they've performed 20 ban waves. So there's a lot of people that say that the anti-cheat system isn't working, specifically referring to easy anti-cheat, and I think these people don't understand how an anti-cheat system actually works. And it's kind of like an antivirus software. So when you have an antivirus software, it doesn't protect you against every single virus. It protects you against what known viruses that software has. And then different viruses come out, you're not protected because your software doesn't protect you against it. Your database or the anti-software database gets updated, and then it will protect you. And that's the same with anti-cheat. Anti-cheat systems will stop certain cheats getting in, but the cheat makers will then make new cheats, and then the anti-cheat software will be updated, so then it will stop those cheats. That's how anti-cheat systems work. You know, just having an anti-cheat system doesn't protect you against everything, right? So if you do get killed against cheaters in game, make sure you hit the report button, because the devs are obviously looking at these reports and actioning them. So until Easy Anti-Cheat gets updated to deal with more and more cheats, just keep hitting that report button so we can get cheaters banned in game. And that's all for this dev blog. I will be covering more dev blogs when they come out in future, while still hitting the game, because I'm loving Marauders at the moment, putting out gameplay videos, tips and guides and streams for it. I do solo streams, but squad streams where I want to team up with random people from chat. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes I shoot them in the back of the head. But it's a good laugh. So if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.